G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. Husqvarna have finally launched their Norden 901 adventure bike. This is a bike I've been waiting a long time for, and I know a lot of you have been as well. So in today's video, we're going to break down everything we know about this bike, when it's set to reach dealer floors, and of course, the price that it will be selling for. Let's get into it. Now the Husqvarna 901 Norden was first teased to us a couple of years ago, and this amazing prototype that we first saw was really futuristic and stood itself apart from many other adventure bikes in the market. Instead of having that cliche insectozoid styling, it came to us with this futuristic and bold character. Now before the announcement, we already knew most of what was going on with the Norden 901. It takes most of its design from this bike here, KTM 790. And to be more particular, it takes most of its DNA from the new KTM 890 Adventure. So it will be sharing the same 890cc parallel twin engine, along with the steel trellis frame and chassis that that bike has, including the saddlebag fuel tanks that make the bike handle fantastic. What we didn't know, however, was going to be the final spec that Husqvarna released this bike in. Whether it was going to take an S and an R format similar to the KTM, or whether it was going to stick to a single spec design. And it seems as if Husqvarna have chosen the latter. Instead of offering two different trims, an all-round, all-road tourer on one side and a off-road focused rally bike on the other, Husqvarna have kind of gone something down the middle. What they've seemed to have done is kind of fill a gap that I think was missing in KTM's mid-size adventure lineup. The key design aspect that's going to separate the Norden 901 from its KTM counterparts is going to be that front fairing. That full front fairing really sets this bike apart in its styling, and that big round front headlight is the cherry on top. Now that front fairing is something that KTM does not offer in its mid-size bike. As you can see next to me, there's actually no front fairing here. Instead, what we have is plastic masks around the headlight and plastic winglets here around the forks. And now what that does, of course, is reduce some of that weight on the front of the bike. But what you lose out on, of course, is wind protection. So the Husqvarna, we can assume, is going to have far better wind protection and comfort than the KTM 890 counterpart. And it seems that theme of all-road comfort seems to be the DNA of this Norden 901. Now the Norden 901 still has the 21-inch front and the 18-inch rear, but the suspension was an interesting choice. They've chosen to only opt for the Apex 43mm that we find on the KTM Adventure S model. So this is providing only 220 mils of travel. So it's a bike that is still going to be very competitive against everything else in the competition, except of course the R model in the KTM 890 Adventure. So what that tells us is that Husqvarna and KTM, the mother brand, they want this bike to be different from the KTM offerings. They don't want it simply just to be a white KTM 890 Adventure. They want it to be its own bike with its own purpose in the mid-size adventure lineup. And I think they've really nailed it, because I think it's really filling a hole, like I said, that KTM isn't right now. It's going to offer a slightly lower seat height, making it more approachable. It's going to be great on open roads on the highway. It's going to be more than adequate on gravel roads, fire tracks, and even some more technical rocky terrain. It's just not going to be able to take the big heavy hits that the KTM Adventure R and the Adventure Rally are able to do so with their improved suspension. And again, I just don't think that that's the bike that Husqvarna wanted this to be. We can see in the marketing of this bike that luggage is a key accessory that Husqvarna are pushing for this bike. They want this bike to be seen as a touring bike, not a rally bike. Now KTM obviously own Husqvarna, they also own Gas, and it's been made clear multiple times that they want to segment these brands really clearly. They want KTM to be first and foremost their performance line. They want Gas to be their fun line. And they want Husqvarna to be their premium, more luxurious line. So that's why when it comes to the choices they've made with the Norden 901, it really does make sense. Now we're still getting some great tech on there. Looks like we've got a slightly smarter, cleaner TFT display on here compared to this KTM's, which are more of a rugged rally style display. You can also see that the bike comes standard with fog lights on either side of the headlight there. And of course, having all that KTM DNA, it's going to benefit from all of those amazing electronics that its orange cousins have. That includes the amazing traction control of these motorcycles. So on the KTM, we call it rally mode. Husqvarna are calling it Explorer mode. And what that mode is going to allow you to do is separately select your throttle maps compared to your traction control setting, and even fine-tune your traction control on a scale of 1 to 9 as you ride on the fly. This is probably the most amazing aspect of these motorcycles, so it's awesome to see that tech carry through onto the Norden, and to be honest, it wasn't much of a surprise. So in my previous recommendations, I could never really recommend the KTM mid-size adventure bikes to riders who really want to do more of a traditional adventure touring, who want to do lots of highway miles and mainly ride gravel roads and fire tracks and stay away from anything really technical. I just think there have always been better bikes suited to that type of riding in the mid-size adventure competition. Now that has changed with the Norden 901. I think that this bike here really fills that hole for KTM and offers a truly amazing all-round adventure mid-size motorcycle. If you've been dying to get on the KTM platform and benefits from its amazing engines and of course its incredible electronics, but you wanted something that was a little bit more adventure touring focused with a little bit more comfort and a little bit more luxury, I think the Husqvarna Norden 901 could be the bike for you. Let me know what you think to the Husqvarna Norden 901 in the comments below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. Ride safe. Peace.